You can imagine my shock when I went on Experian to check my credit score, only to notice that my credit score had dropped again by 53 points. 53 solid points, moving my credit score from fair to poor. And in the last few months, my credit score has been dropping, but the move from fair to poor was actually a bit of a shock. So I thought in this video, I'll be honest with you and share with you these three things. One, why has my credit score been dropping? Two, what does a poor credit rating mean for me? And then three, what am I going to do to rebuild my credit score? This should help anyone who is worried about their credit score or thinking of ways to build their credit. But if you should actually stay with me till the end of the video, I'll share with you why I'm not bothered. Let's dig in. For those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you would notice that I'm a big advocate for building a good or excellent credit score because of the benefit that comes with it. And for a long time, I maintain an excellent credit score. I've already got a couple of videos on that, so I'll not go into that. I'll put a link to those in the description box below. Check it out. But to summarize, I had my name on the electoral roll, my addresses on my credit file were up to date, I had an employment that gave me a steady income, and I had a couple of credit cards. Speaking of credit cards, I had the British Airways American Express credit card that gave me points whenever I shopped. In fact, sometimes I got points enough to shop for free, or I could actually get, flight at a reduced price. I recently bought, a flight from Accra to London for £100. Can you believe that? Yeah. In fact, if you'd like to know how I bought that flight for just £100, do let me know in the comment section, and then I can do a video on that to show you how you can get reduced flight with the British Airways American Express credit card. I would also put a link to that credit card in the description box below. If you are interested, do certainly apply for it. So let's get back. In addition to these, I had lived in the UK for more than 3 years, and then I had a mortgage. So on paper, I was good, I was solid. In fact, with one of my banks, I had stayed with them for over 7 years. And that's what the lenders actually like. That's what built you an excellent credit score. If your name is on the electoral roll, you've got, a credit card, your addresses are up to date, you've got a job, they can see, an income coming in. And if you've got a mortgage, that's even solid. Of course, if you've stayed for longer in the UK, then that's even a better thing. So this actually helped me to have an excellent credit score. And the benefit of that was that I was getting all these letters, from banks to come for cheap loans, 0% credit cards. So when I went on Experian to check my eligibility for credit cards or loans, I was flying because I qualified for most of the major, credit cards at very cheap rates too. So whether it was 0% purchase cards, 0% balance transfers, loans were very cheap. So in fact, it was good. And that was how I actually bought my car at 0% interest. I didn't have to pay any interest for my car. And so that was good until this happened. Mortgage rates went over the roof and I was also affected. My mortgage rate was moving from 1.8% to 5%. So this meant that the interest on my mortgage was moving from £180 per month to £500 a month, which is about £6,000 in a year or £12,000 in 2 years. I mean, that was too expensive. So I came up with a strategy to pay off my mortgage in just 2 years. I know you've seen that video. Otherwise, I'll put a link to it in the description box below. You should check out how I actually, leveraged my credit score to take a lot of money from credit cards to pay off my mortgage. And that was when my credit score started, dipping. Because I made a lot of credit card applications within a short period, the banks don't like that. The lenders, even though they gave me the credit cards at 0%, I took a hit on my credit score. But hey, I still got the money I needed to pay off my mortgage. The benefit of that was that it was saving me £12,000 in 2 years, but my credit score moved from excellent to, I think, good, and then later on it became fair. And that was where we were with things. So it was still not that bad. And I was still getting, offers here and there, about, credit cards I could get for 0% and all of that. So it was all good. And then I fell for this temptation. One credit card was offering me £20,000 at 0% interest for 2 years. And I couldn't resist this temptation. And before you judge me, let's think about it. It's just like a friend of yours giving you £20,000 and saying, Shadrach, all I need for you is to keep this money. And then every month you pay me, say, £200. Think about it. They give you £20,000 and then ask you to keep it. And then every month you pay £200 for 2 years. Of course, at the end of the 2 years, if you've not finished paying off the money, then higher interest rates kick in. But if it's money you've not spent, if it's money just sitting down, then it means you can, keep it in a bank that is paying a high interest, and then every month you simply pay 200 to them. And that is exactly what I did. I got the credit card with £20,000 on it, and then I pulled the money out of it into a bank account. In fact, Santander at the time was paying 5.1%. So I took the 20,000 and I put it in Santander, which is paying me 5.1%. And then every month I pay £200 to them. If you'd like to know how I actually pulled the money from the credit card, do let me know in the comment section. So that means that I could pull the £20,000 from the credit card and put it in Santander that pays 5.1% a year. And that translates to about £1,020 in a year, or £85 a month. So really, instead of actually paying £200 to the credit card every month, I could simply take the £85 from Santander and then add £115 to it to pay them. So the effective amount that I'm paying to the credit card every month is actually £115, and I've still got the £20,000 sitting down in an account. Does that make sense? If you would like me to, explain further, do let me know in the comment section. In fact, before I go on, let me take a moment to ask you to kindly subscribe to this channel. My YouTube analytics show me that about 70% of those who watch this channel have actually not subscribed. I would really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to this channel so that we could do more of what I do on this channel. So thank you for doing that, and then let's continue. So in the end, the effective amount that I'm paying to the credit card every month is just £115, because I'm getting the £85 from Santander as interest and then adding it to my own money and then paying the credit card. At the end of the day, the money is still sitting down, which I can take to pay off the credit card on any day. But of course not. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let the money sit down in my account to build my account statement for anything I would want to do. And I know some of you may be getting ideas. Oh, Shadrach, it doesn't make sense to keep money in the bank. It's losing value. Why don't you, invest it? Hey, don't let the devil tempt you. Because when you invest, you could lose a bit of the money. And this is not my own money. It is, a money that belongs to a lender. So I want to guard it well. The good thing is that I've got a few, visa applications coming up. So that is the money I'm using to simply build my statement. When I need to invite, whether a friend or a relative into the UK, or when I need to renew my own visa and I need to show that I've got money in the bank, that is the statement I use. So the money is not simply being wasted. It's serving this purpose. Of course, on any day, if I can produce a statement that shows that there's £20,000 in the bank, I'm more likely to be approved for a visa renewal or inviting someone that I need to sponsor. That is a possibility. While the money is sitting there, it is not gathering dust. It is actually making me an interest, which I'm taking out and paying the same lender. Does that make sense? So, of course, you could use the £85 to do anything you want, but bottom line is you would have to pay the credit card £200 every month. But I use that £85 to pay them off and then added a bit of my own money. At the end of the 2 years, when the interest rate is, changing, because at the end of 2 years, the interest rate will change from 0% to about 30%, which is, crazy. I'll still have the money down to pay off whatever that is remaining. So what that is actually doing is that it's actually helping me to save, because by paying £200 for 24 months, at the end of the 24-month period, I would have paid only £4,800, or let's say £5,000. So I would have £15,000 to pay back to the credit card. But remember, the money is already sitting in an account, which I've not touched. So I simply take £15,000 out of, the bank and then pay off the credit card, and I'll have £5,000. Remember also that the £200 that I was paying every month, it wasn't that was all my money. £85 of it was actually from the credit card interest that I was getting with the money in the bank. So effectively, my own money that I've actually put out was only about 2003 or something, and yet I've made about £5,000, meaning the profit is about 2,700. So I know it may be just 2,700, or just £85 a month, for 2 years, but I think it's a fair deal. Of course, I've taken a hit with my credit score, which some of you may be worried about, but I'm not bothered because of this. If you've not seen my video on how to get your credit report for free, I'll put a link to it in the description box below. Do check it out. It is not in the credit score itself that really matters. It is the detail. So that if your credit score was low because you've missed a payment, if you have judgment against you, then you've got some serious work to do. In my case, my credit score is actually low because I've made too many applications within a short time. And so I only have to wait for maybe a year without making another application, and then the credit score will bounce back because it will go off my record anyway. Another thing is because I've got a lot of debt on credit card, and so I would need time to pay them off a bit for my debt to income ratio to improve, because compared to my income, I've got too much debt. So over time, as I pay them off, my credit score will bounce back. And so this is why I'm actually not bothered. Of course, one would argue that, Shadrach, this means that while your credit score is poor, you're not going to get access to any cheap loans or even get any loans. Fair point. But I've got £20,000 in the bank anyway, which I can use anytime I need, still at 0%. So really, while you may have different opinions, which I'm happy to hear in the comment section, I think this is a fair approach, and I need to give myself only a year and my credit score would bounce back. Lenders may actually love me than somebody with even a good credit score, because I've got a house to my name with no mortgage, and that is something they like. Of course, the system is built for you to have debt and debt and debt, and so you must be careful about it. In fact, this strategy will not be useful for somebody who cannot say no to many requests. For example, it's very tempting, that you've got £20,000 sitting in an account, and then, somebody will call it, oh, Shadrach, my child is ill and da. It's very tempting, to take a bit of that money to give out. But knowing that that is credit card money and I cannot risk it, I only give money that I'm happy to part with. Otherwise, that is not money for me to touch. So if you're somebody who cannot say no to many requests, if your grandmother swallows, a wheelbarrow, and you cannot say, Grandma, sorry, but you have to meet the Lord sooner, then I guess this approach is not for you. But for me, I've taken the hit with my credit score, but I've got, this money in the bank, which I can use to build my, my statement for visa applications and all of that. So if that's an approach you'd like to take, do let me know in the comment section. But if you'd like to discuss this further, of course, I'm happy to, meet you one-on-one to discuss. Final point, this is an important video because many people reach out to me, when I put out a video on, the best bank accounts out there, and people want to apply because it's got a high interest rate, and yet they are worried that, will this affect their credit score? I know that, I've been preaching that keep an excellent credit score, but don't be so fixated on the credit score in itself. For example, if you're going to open an account that's going to pay you 8% interest per month or pay you 5.2% interest per month, but you are worried that your credit score will take a hit, then, for me, I'm going to apply for this account if it's going to make me more money, because the point of having an excellent credit score really is so that you can leverage it to get access to cheap loans or get access to build your wealth. There is no point having an excellent credit score if it's not going to be used to build your wealth. Does that make sense? It's just like having a good, football team that is not winning trophies. Ghana. Anyway, it is useless, so to say. You see, the point of having an excellent credit score is to be able to get access to cheaper loans. Of course, when you do, it will affect your credit score. It will come down a bit. But hey, it shall rise again, like the Ghana Black Stars, the team shall rise again. On that note, congrats to Super Eagles, my fatherland, for winning, that game yesterday against South Africa. Hey, fans from South Africa, don't be annoyed. Yeah, but that really is the point. So I hope this video has been helpful and it's shown you how you can actually build your credit score if you are in the ditches at the moment. I would encourage you to get your detailed credit report for free, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box below. Do check it out and see where you can use to improve your credit score. I hope this video has helped you, and let me know what you think of this strategy. Until the next one, God bless. Adios.